What's up, my peeps? Hope everybody's doing good. I don't really have a lot of time this week because I'm moving, so I'm just gonna do a couple of short videos to get you guys by. I didn't want to go too long without doing another one, but this is gonna be. I'm gonna do one prison story, and then I'm gonna do one paranormal story. And hopefully people don't go crazy. Like some people trip when I do the paranormal videos, but if you read the description of my channel, it's about my life experiences, and a lot of those are paranormal experiences. So I don't know why people act surprised. But anyway, don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. Um, don't forget to hit like, or if you don't like it, hit thumbs down. I don't really care. But make sure you comment. Anyway, this is going to be another story about my time at SMU1 in Florence, Arizona Department of Corrections, SMU1 Supermax prison. So anyway, this happened like maybe about, well, it was like '94, I think, because I think that's when I started at SMU1, '94 or '95. I don't remember for sure, but I had only been there about a month, so I was still rookie, pretty fresh out of the army. And so I did okay. I caught on pretty quick, just because of my being in the military and also just growing up in the hood and everything. But so what happened this particular night is I was there at the prison, and I think I was working one of the control towers, and it was really stormy. It was like a lot of lightning and thunder. It was raining really hard. I mean, the lightning was so loud, or the thunder was so loud. It was like you could feel it like shaking the freaking the walls. Like when it would rumble. And so of course the inmates were like getting pretty rowdy. And then the power it's kind of an older prison. Like I think SMU was built like I want to say like in the '70s. I think. Hey, have a good night, man. It was built like in the '70s, I believe. Have a good night. So like the uh, power system or whatever wasn't like the best. It had kind of like gone out briefly before, but so it was like the power kind of kept blinking on and off, and so every time it would get completely dark in the prison, like the inmates, would go nuts. And again, if you don't understand this, let me kind of paint this scenario for you. So, like, these are level 5 maximum custody prisoners, so they're like the worst of the worst. A lot of them are murderers, rapists, like armed robbers, like arson, like just all the worst crimes. So, the power ended up going off completely, and then like maybe like took a couple minutes. The emergency generators kicked on, and so like I guess while all this was happening, like down in Wing 3, Baker Charlie unit, and hopefully maybe like a couple of former COs from SMU have watched some of my videos, and like sometimes they'll comment like, "Oh yeah, I remember that." So hopefully some of them out there will hear this video and remember this. But anyways, like 3 Baker Charlie, and then Abel and or I'm trying to remember what the other side was, but it was like Abel and Baker, and then I think Charlie and Delta. I don't remember exactly which ones went off, but that whole unit was like our only unit that had 2 inmates to each cell. And one side was like the workers did for a little bit. They kind of like tried them out working in the kitchen, but that didn't work out because they were like beating the shit out of each other all the time. But so anyways, these were it was the only unit that had 2 convicts per cell. So that's kind of more dangerous because now you got 2 extremely dangerous individuals, because the rest of the prison was mainly just 1 inmate per cell, because they're such dangerous individuals, right? So, anyways, I'm pretty sure it was 3 Baker Charlie units that were going off, and what they did was they were refusing to give up their dinner trays, and like their dinner trays are made out of like this like some kind of like a hard plastic material, and it's kind of hard to break them, but they can't be broken. And what the inmates were doing is they were breaking their dinner trays, and usually they break off in like sharp, pieces. So they were making weapons basically, and they were like saying, come get us," like we're ready to rock and roll. And then not only that, they were flooding the pods. So like what they do is like they usually plug up the toilet, like they'll stuff in there and they'll just keep flushing it, and then they'll do the same thing to the sink. So by the time, like I said, they called for all available staff to suit up, to come down to the West Wing or East Wing and suit up. And then we pretty much we were out in the hallway getting ready to go in, and they were just kind of like telling us like what was going on in there, right? So there was about a foot of water in each pod, and the water was coming all the way out to the hallway because there was so much water, and it was completely black, like dark, like you could barely see in there, right? So we divided up into 3 extraction teams, and I think I was like the number 2 or the number 3 guy on one of the teams, and I remember a couple of guys that were on my team. This Italian guy named Triana, he was pretty cool, and then this short, stocky Irish CO, he was freaking crazy. His last name was Doan. That's the only thing I'll say is his last name. But this dude he was freaking pretty wild. He was kind of crazy. He had a freaking tattoo on his shoulder of IRA. It's like, that's all I'll say. Anyway, he was pretty wild. And I think he was the number 2 guy, and I think Triana was a shield guy, and I was like number 3, and then I don't remember who else was behind us, but it was like mostly all veterans that had been there like a while, and like there was a couple of new guys like me that were allowed to be on the teams, just because we showed potential, basically, So, anyways, we went in, and I'll explain what it looks like again for people that haven't heard my videos. Like the units, like on the floor, when you're on the floor, what they look like is there's like a big metal door. When that opens up, it's like a walkway. It kind of looks like a horseshoe. It goes in a circle, and it goes in a circle around a control tower. The control tower's up above. You can look up and you can see it through thick plexiglass, and there's metal bars, that are lining the plexiglass, and so like, when you go through this horseshoe, there's 6 different pods. And so there's 6 different doors that goes to each pod, and then it's kind of like it's like a grid, it's got holes in it so you can see through, but it's like metal doors, and like the front of the pods is like a metal grid. That's the best I can describe it. It's like just metal with holes in it so you can see through it, right? So anyway, we go in. It's totally dark. We can barely see, but we didn't have flashlights, but the officers with the cameras. Oh, and that's the other thing. This is like in the 90s, so there wasn't any cameras in the pods or anything. So there was like COs with the camera, and there was like sergeant, lieutenant going in there with us. So they had big spotlights, like flashlights, so we could see. So we go in, they open the pod, we go in, and we had to go to each cell individually because, like I said, these guys were refusing to give up their dinner trays. And so we had to go into each cell and extract, each, set of inmates from their cell. So, the first couple cells we went in, the inmates were like, they were, trying to fight us, basically. So we went in there and, just basically like we were busting in and throwing down with them, and I got punched in the side of the helmet by one inmate. So he made me mad. So I kind of, ducked down and kind of single-legged him took him down and pounded him a little bit, got a little bit of payback. We cuffed him up, cuffed up his celly. So we did that, like, man, throughout the whole night. Like, we must have did like maybe like 20 something cell extractions. And I got punched in the ribs by another inmate. It was no big deal, but it kind of scared me because I thought, maybe he stabbed me or something, because we're wearing puncture resistant vests, but I mean, them things probably ain't gonna stop. Like if it's like a long, like a like kind of like an ice pick type thing or a long blade, it'll probably go through it. But yeah, luckily he punched me, or maybe he did have something in his hand, but it didn't go through. A few COs did get cut, and like maybe like minor like stab, but like just like didn't go in too far. Like nobody had to be like go to the hospital or anything. Like basically like the craziest thing I seen was just I won't name any names, but a couple of the veteran COs that like were ahead of me on the extraction team, man, it was like a free for all, man. They were going toe to toe with some of those inmates, like just boxing, like it was pretty wild, and I did what I needed to do, but I basically stuck more to the as much as I could, just to the script, like I wasn't in there trying to go UFC on any inmates or anything, but it was pretty nuts. At the end of the night, or at the end of like all those extractions, like we all had to go down to medical and get checked, and the medical unit was just overflowing with like COs and inmates that were like banged up and injured. Oh, and of course, like I kind of forgot to mention this, but of course, like every cell we went into, like before we went in, they would either spray them or throw a gas grenade in there. So we were like all full of gas, because we get gas too, even though we're wearing a gas mask. Like eventually, it just so much being in like so much gas like that, it kind of overwhelms the mask, and you still get contaminated, So we were all full of gas and stuff. So like, let me just look at my notes really quick, make sure I don't forget anything. Yeah, so like I said, the medical unit was just like overflowed with COs and inmates, and the medical staff didn't know what to do. It was like the craziest thing that I've ever seen, And but it was funny, like, so we're in the medical unit, and like most of the inmates are like either cuffed and like against the wall or like in holding cages. So me and a couple other COs were talking to the convicts, and it was funny because like we were talking like just like, hey man, like fuck man, like what were you guys tripping on? And they were just like they said they just wanted to have some fun, like because the power went out. They said it was nothing against y'all, like it was nothing personal. They said, how it is when you're back when you're a kid, man, when the freaking power goes out, it's like, it's fun time, So I guess that's what it was for them, because they were saying like, we get bored, man. We're locked up in here 23/7, out of the day. So something for them like that, it was like, I guess just it was time to to have some fun and just I guess make the most out of it. So they did. But anyway, I wanted to keep this one short. Hope you guys liked it. I got plenty more stories from SMU and from CADC, also in Florence, Arizona. Anyway, for now, I'm gonna let you guys go. Don't forget to comment, and so I can interact with you guys in the comments. Your homie Big Cisco. Peace.